Yes, Madhumita ma'am, we can start now. Over to you, ma'am. Madhumita ma'am, are you there?
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
I welcome our esteemed speaker, Dr. Vakre, our Honorable Founder Chairman of PRITHVI Abhyudaya Educators Association, Dr. Harshvardhan of Sir, all official members of Paai, and all other distinguished attendees of today's webinar. Now I will briefly explain about Paai. Prithvi Abhyudaya Educators Association India Paai. The association is established to protect and promote the well-being of its members, to improve the conditions of teaching and learning, to advance the cause of free, universal, and quality public education for all students, to ensure that the human dignity and civil rights of all children and youth are protected, and to secure a most just, equitable, and democratic society. Our mission is very clear. This association provides financial assistance in various ways to all the directors, principals, and teachers of India. All of you have seen very closely during the situation arising in the lockdown. And these days, the most pathetic condition has been that of our teacher community. This association will not be a part of any kind of court case or any other type of dharna strike. The main objective of this association is to strengthen our educator community by giving them financial assistance. Now, I'll give some introduction of our founder director, Dr. Harshvardhan Singh. He is the founder director of SHPSM Public School, Dhelan District, Una. Dr. Harshvardhan Singh is the founder and chairperson of PRITHVI Abhyuday Educators Association India Pi. This association is currently working in more than 10 countries. More than 10,000 academicians are benefiting under the banner of these associations. Prithvi Abhyuday Educators Association India is a non-profit organization for education leaders and other stakeholders. The purpose of this association to knowledge sharing, empower education of the leaders, to provide financial aid to those educators who are jobless and instill leadership in education sector. Dr. Harshvardhan Singh has more than 10 years of experience in this field of education. He is a multi-talented personality, an experienced consultant, an instructor, educator, facilitator, motivator, and inspiring public speaker with a vast understanding and knowledge. Honored with more than 70 plus national and international awards as Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Rashtriya Shiksha Ratan Samman, Educator of the Year 2021, World's Best Mentor Award, Dedicated Educationist All India Education Award 2021. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam International Award of Excellence 2021, Shiksha Padam Samman, Impeccable Creative Thinker Award, Guruvar Samman, National Earth Care Award, etc. So nice of you, sir. Now let me introduce myself. I am Mrs. Madhumita Mukherjee, today's moderator. I am State Mentor West UP of Prithvi Abhyuday Educators Association. I am also the principal of Swarnim Public School, Lucknow. Now I will introduce our today's keynote speaker, Mr. SUNIL KESHAVRAO Vakre sir. He is having vast knowledge in education sector. His academic qualification is M.Sc, M.A, B.Ed, D.S.M, FIIEP, PGDEMA, honorary doctorate, CBSE resource person and master trainer. He is content writer of Balbharti textbook of Maharashtra government. He has also achieved many national awards. Now our interview session will start. Sir, I'll ask you some two questions before starting the today's topics. First question is, sir, please brief us something about yourself, which none of us know about you, about your life journey. So please tell me something about your life journey.
Very good evening to one and all. First
Yes.
of all, I really thank PRITHVI as Educators Association Pi, especially Honorable Dr. Harshvardhan Singh, sir, as well as Madhumita ma'am, and all the respected attendees over here. Sir, this is really a very noble job what you have started. It's really a remarkable thing that what you are doing for all the education sector, maybe for the teachers or for the students as well as various schools. The initiative what you are running, we really support you and appreciate your efforts, especially during the lockdown time or maybe right now. And these discussions what you have started will really are really appreciable and will emerge into a great revolution. I feel so. I suppose. About telling myself, I will not take much time because already ma'am has told me and told you about your my introduction. I'm Mr. Sunil Bhakare from Nasik, M.Sc, M.A, B.Ed, D.S.M, PGDEMA, working in a school. 28 years I'm in this sector of teaching learning, an educator, CBSE resource person, master trainer, and British Council, Cambridge, and CBSE competency-based education trainer also, and also the textbook content writer for Balbharti. That is a textbook of State Board. Right now, I'm working with a school which is run only for the tribal students. So right from 20 years, past 20 years, I'm working for the tribal students, those who are first generation school going children, and they are coming from the Marathi medium, that is vernacular language background, up to 5th class, and 6th class they get admission in our school, 6th to 12th as science stream. And this is a really challenging job because my school is a school where first generation school going children come from the deep valleys, top mountains, remote tribal areas, and they directly come from Marathi medium to English medium school. Ours is not like other schools, right from nursery, KG, they are in English medium, but they come from Marathi medium, and hardly they are interested in education, but still we have very good output. Right now we have around 37 schools in Maharashtra and around 400 in India, working for only ST category, that is tribal students. Now, as I'm in this field of education, I was actually working in a very good, well-settled convent school. After that, I left the job, and now I'm working for this school and doing various experimentation for these tribal students, especially curbing the dropout standard of education, creating interest among the children to bring them to the mainstream of education, their development, their type of encouragement to reach to the height and bring them, very important is bring them to the mainstream of education and mainstream of society, because the tribal student, they feel, the community, they feel that they are out of the mainstream of education as well as mainstream of the society. So this is the kind of way and my journey which is coming up.
Oh, so nice of you, sir. You are doing a noble job. Mother tongue is also very important to know for the children. We all are teaching in English medium school, but mother tongue is very important for the children to know. Sir, one more question I'll ask you. I'd like to ask you, please share your valuable tips and experience how we will balance the academic and other co-curricular activities of the schools, since we are getting lot of instructions from board also. So how we will cope up to manage the academic and non-academic co-curricular activities? Please share your tips and experience.
A very good question. I really like, because most of the schools, most of the educationists are facing this problem, ma'am, all over India. Especially if you go for the CBSE school, there are more than 28,000 schools in India and 24 abroad countries. And all these educators are facing this problem. The reason is, board wants to do so many academic things. The academicians or the management of the school wants to do all the co-curricular activities. The parents have different expectations, and we academicians, educators, have the challenge to balance all this. So all the schools are facing the problem. If we give weightage to one side and it gets unbalanced to the other side, then it becomes a big problem. So my thinking in this, or what I experienced in my school or schools around Nasik, especially Nasik city and Nasik district, or Maharashtra, that we need to make a kind of holistic way of doing all these things. That is, collaborating the activities, using this co-curricular, extracurricular activities, and combining it with the academics, so that it becomes experiential learning. In my school, I conduct most of the activities, co-curricular, extracurricular activities, in such a way that we can hit 3 targets in one single ball. That is it. Means what? During doing the academic activities, these co-curricular and extracurricular activities are being used as experiential learning type of activities, where the students get a kind of joyful learning, experiential learning, and they are getting involved themselves in the educational activities. So there is active participation of the students, and there is a role of the teacher as an instructor, and so many activities are there which can be clubbed. I use a very correct word here, the clubbing. So all these activities, maybe curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activities, should be clubbed together so as to reach and achieve all the targets. That is, they should go for either game, sports, and the sport integration, or stories. If they are told the story integration is there. Or if they are on the field, then field tour is there, a field tour, picnics, or excursion. All this can be clubbed with geography, science. So in this way, these things can be clubbed together so that those 3 targets are achieved. That is, parents are satisfied, the students are satisfied, management is satisfied, and even the fourth element, that is the board, also gets this kind of, that is achieving all the targets by clubbing. So clubbing is one of the best thing that we can do for the clubbing of the activities, co-curricular, extracurricular, academic activities can be clubbed together so as to bring a kind of holistic teaching learning practice, where the students also will get happiness, they learn it very joyfully, as well as the teachers will also get the target of reaching or performing all the co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So clubbing is the best solution for all this. That's what I feel, and I practice it right now in my school.
Very good, sir. Thank you so much. And one more question came in my mind, sir. While you were briefing, you have mentioned experiential learning. Please give some tips of the experiential learning also. You have mentioned about experiential learning. This is very, very essential for to know for the teachers and we all principals. This is very essential nowadays. Please give some tips about the experiential learning also.
Very good question. Thank you for asking this question because I am a very great supporter and follower of experiential learning. And as I'm a CBSE trainer, I give experiential learning training and practice in my school because I have my one channel. You'll not believe, ma'am. Experiential learning means what? And all of you will get astonished when I tell you something about what I have done during COVID. During COVID, when we were, as a science teacher, I was not able to perform the practicals in my school. And I wanted the children to do the practical. But my students are from remote tribal areas where they do not have the way of communication, or maybe they are not able to come to the school, or they don't have the laboratories and equipment. What I did is, for the experiential learning, is I converted their house into laboratory. And you will not believe, 85 experiments were conducted by the students at home by using the small things which are present in the school and around by the tribal students. Videos were clicked, 2.5, 3 minutes videos were clicked, and all these videos are uploaded on that channel, where you'll find the children are performing these practicals at their home in the tribal areas. You can see the background, the date and the day when it was conducted, and everything is displayed. So we can, if we decide, we can really do it really, and that is what I proved, that experiential learning is very important, and my students have learned the best during that time because they were very happy by clicking the photos or by creating a small video clip of performing the science activity. 85 experiments, they did it at home, and they have sent clips, and those clips are there. So in this way, the experiential learning means giving the real life connect. Giving real life connect, they could connect the real life experiences with teaching learning. So experiential learning is very essential. These days, we are moving to the digital world. It is okay. We are moving to the digital world is okay. But in this 21st century, apart from digital learning, the very important thing is giving them experiential learning. Unless and until there is no experiential learning, there is no motor skill development. Now, right now, in the present days, in the many cities, I don't blame, but it is a practice that they are going for the digital learning, displaying on the board and teaching. But the motor skill development is not taking place. So when there is experiential learning, there is a triple H combination, as well as there is motor skill development among the students, and there is joyful learning. There is integration of experience, learning, and apply the learning in the real life. That is called as a real life connect. So the main aim of education is satisfied, that is connecting the education to the real life. Problem solving or 21st century skill can be indirectly taught very easily and effectively. This can be taught to the students where a lifelong learning takes place. They will forget it, experiential learning. Even for the science, I have a science center where there are 104 demos where experiential learning takes place of physics, chemistry, biology, and some of the geography topics. So experiential learning should be given the maximum importance in the teaching learning, and not the rote teaching learning. We should always step down from the rote learning and move to the experiential learning. That is what I have shown practically. That is what I have experienced practically. That learning.
Thank you so much, sir, for so meaningful and beneficial tips for us. So now we can move for the today's topic. Today's topic is present education system in India. Now, sir, this is your platform. I will request you to go ahead for this today's topic.
Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to speak on this topic. I will not elaborate here what was there in the previous education policy, what is there in the present education policy, or what is NEP and that structure. I will not go for all this because we all of us know it since last 2 years. We are all learning, listening or looking for all these things here. What is that 3 plus 2 plus and 3 plus 2 plus and whatever it is. But I will not go for that. Rather than that, I will focus mainly on the standard of education. As we know that India is a vast country and number one populated country in the world, 1.3 billion people, out of which there are about 315 billion students are there in India. And in this, 1.4 million schools are there and more than 230 million enrollment, that is students are there in India, and has around many more around more than 800 universities are there, and more than 20 million students per year they get pass out, and all that big numbers are there. But in this education system, if you see where India ranks, that is very important. So my prime focus for today's discussion will be the standard quality of education, rather than going for the education policies and all that. Because I believe education policies are made, education policies are drafted, but how far it is getting executed, that is very important. We are making so many policies, we are bringing so many revolutions, letters, and we are bringing so many general resolutions are there, government resolutions are there, but how far they are implemented, how far they are activated, and how far reach to they reach to the last person, that is very important. So in India, quality of education. Now you see, when the standard of education big term comes, the names that come before us are US, UK, Germany, Canada, France, Switzerland, Japan, Australia, Sweden, and the top education system or top standard education system goes to Finland. Finland is thought to be the most effective and standard education country. So it is, though it is a not very big country, but why this country is first in the education standard, that is very important. And India, though it is so vast country, though we have so many resources available, so much of a human resource available, why we can't reach to that standard? May not be Finland, but India's rank maybe I think so 34, 35 somewhere among all the countries. So we should always try to step up to the level of, may not be Finland, but some other Australia, Japan, or Switzerland, or France, Canada, these countries. What kind of education system is used in these countries, so that India can also reach to the educational standard of these countries? Because till now we have the impact of the British education policy on India, what I feel so. Still there is a need of reformation, coming out of the box and making some other arrangements, some other changes, some other type of modifications at our level. May not be by the educational policy makers and all that, but at our level, at our local level, maybe at the school level or at our personal level, we need to step out, or we need to come out of this situation, so that some changes which are necessary as per the need, as per the requirement, as per the resources available, as per the student standard. Policy is made common at the country level, but it should always keep in mind the last student, especially my child. My child means I speak about the tribal student. The tribal student also, the lowest one, who are in the deep valleys, top mountains, deep forest, their consideration also should be taken, not only for the education policies, but even for the boards. Boards are considering the standard for a city like Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai, or Calcutta, as well as Delhi. But what about these students who are also giving the examination, but they reside at a very deep forest, top mountains, or deep valleys? And what about their education? With what kind of situation they are facing? That all should be considered. So when we think of education system in India, India being a very vast country, densely populated country, and geographical situation, the geographical situation is very different at different ends, all four ends of the country. So when we talk about the education system, there should be some kind of modification that is required, because when we want to reach and achieve this target, then some kind of modification, some kind of revolutionary changes has to be taken place. This community, this type of reformation is required, where the standard of education is maintained, the standard of education is achieved by various other ways. Now we are still not coming out of the 6:30, 7 o'clock school to 12 o'clock, two shift schools, early morning school. Just see in these countries, developed countries like Australia, Sweden, Japan, or especially Finnish education, that is Finland. This country has really achieved a very great standard. Maybe by the survey which is taken by the association like PIMA and PISA. These are the two well-known type of institutions who are conducting the survey and deciding the standard of education, quality of education. When this quality of education, standard of education is decided, is calibrated, there we understand that some kind of very positive thing is there that has to be implemented, that has to be brought into our educational system so that we achieve that kind of standard. Otherwise, simply going by the traditional method, traditional way of teaching learning, and in this, the main thing is about the teacher's mindset. Till we have the teachers with the mindset which is going on. The way we have learned, जैसे हमने हमारे टीचर से पढ़ा, जैसे हमने हमारे जमाने में पढ़ा, वही हम आगे पढ़ाएंगे. That is I thing I found. I have given the trainings to the teacher where there is a batch of 500 or 600 teachers, CBSE school teachers, online trainings are given by COE Patna, COE Pune. Then I found that most of the teachers are still in the mindset that as it is come from the previous generation, the same goes on in the next generation. So as long as the teachers are not trained, as long as the teachers will not come out of this mindset, as long as this formal type of methodology is not vanished, this cannot be achieved. I feel so. So here there is a great need to come out of this mindset, and that depends on the real educators. Actually, the policymakers, I feel, according to this is my personal view, that the real educational policymakers are not the one who are making the policies there, but the one who is really teaching on the ground. At the ground level, who is teaching is the really policymaker and is the real policy implementer. He is the real policy implementer because he prepares his policies and he implements his policy, which is suitable for his students as per the situation, as per the resources available, as per the need of the students, and as per the type of students he has. So the real policymakers, as long as teachers don't think themselves as the real policymakers, the real policy implementers, there cannot be a revolution, there cannot be a change, and there cannot be a standard that is achieved. And we should not be only abide by the frame of the policy, which is decided by someone who is not knowing what is there on the ground, what is the need of the hour, what is the need on the at the ground level. So that is very important according to me, and we should always keep ourselves very liberal in liberal, as well as I can use the word more submissive, according to the situation, according to the students, according to the need, necessity, and the students, type of students he has before them. So in India, that is maybe a school education, maybe higher education, or any other education, this thing is very much required. They need to change their mindset. For this, they should have a very good training. Very good training is very important. As long as proper training, good trainings are not imparted, now according to the NAP, it is stated that every teacher should undergo 50 hours training. How many teachers really go for that? How many teachers really do it? And how many teachers really gain from it and implement it? That is very important. Most of the time I found that trainings are conducted. Teachers formally attend the training. As long as in the training there is effect, and as long as they go away, the same, they come back to the same real or the same original track and just go on with the original track. This is my experience. I am a master trainer and CBSE resource person for so many years, and I am experiencing all this. I have conducted physical trainings for the schools, the teachers, and the next time when I go for the follow-up, they will again see 50%, not 50, 70, 80% teachers are seen on the same track. So how far it is going on? How far only policies are made? How far only the letters and government resolutions are sent? How far it is effective? At the very beginning, you yourself said, madam, that there is so much experience. The board circulars are there, board pressure is there, board things, new things are introduced. But how far it is implemented? How far the circulars really reach? Policies are very good. Decisions are very good. Expectations are very high. But how far we reach? And we need to be very, very, very type of out of the box. We need to be very much out of the box so that we can achieve, we can reach to that particular level, and we can bring the standard as required in the required by the teachers or required by the parents, by the institution, and for the developed country. Actually, India has a very, very vast resource of human resource. So this human resource can be molded, can be trained, can be converted into a very good type of human resource. I get so many calls from my friends, principals of various schools, not getting good teachers, not getting, sir, please send any math teacher, science teacher, English teacher, this. I said, it is not a factory or it is not a company that you go like in the shop and you bring two science teachers, two math teachers, and two English teachers, good teachers. So I said, whatever teachers you have, give them proper training and convert them into a very good human resource. And when they practice it, they really achieve this. They could really transform this human resource into a very good type of resource. So that it's not a very shop, maybe a B.Ed college or D.Ed college. What do you think of that? But no, any kind of institution will directly give you the product that this is the best, this is the best. No, whatever you get, you make best out of it. And this is applicable for your students also. You can also get the best out of students, not only academic. Apart from academic, there are so many things. So education system in India is very good. Implementation is very important. Effective implementation, outcome-based implementation is the need of our in India. Only the structures are changed, 10 plus 2, 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2, whatever it is. All these changes are there, are required, are very good, are thoughtfully done. But implementation at the ground level, grassroots level is very, very important. As per my studies, as per my research, I am also doing research on so many fields right now. So there I found that the main drawback is about the mindset of the student, mindset of the teachers, training the teachers and getting the outcome, right outcome out of the students or from this particular thing, so that this will go on very positively. Slowly you may get the effect, but every educator should think himself, herself as the policymaker, policy implementer, and should do some kind of research and some kind of change, some kind of submissive type of change in herself or himself, then and then only effective implementation can be done, or not only at the track which is framed, because the track which is framed, the track which is placed is according to a common track that may not be applicable in the two different parts, east or west, north or south. That is at your level. You think, you change your mindset that I am a policymaker of my, right, starting from your subject, my school, my place, my children, or my child, even one child. This is very important. And as long as this will not happen, we cannot expect a drastic change, a revolutionary change from this educator, from these policies. Because these policies will be only a guideline. Policy is only a guideline. The real dependency is on implementation. And when there is effective implementation, then there will be a very good outcome, very good output from this particular thing. So if we want to really go for this change, we really want effective implementation, we should know, we should study. Each and every educator should study what is the Finnish education policy, that is Finland education policy. What is the education policy in the United States, Germany, Canada, France, Switzerland, or these countries? And why our education system is lacking behind? What is the thing? What is the reason? Till now, what I find that there should be a competency-based education implementation, because rote teaching learning still exists and persists in India. The main drawback is the absolute thing is the implementation of competency-based education. Till now, chalk and talk type of methodology is implemented in most of the schools that I have found, and it is not a kind of mindset of the teacher to come out of this particular thing. Mindset, as long as they don't come out of this mindset, they will not effectively use this particular thing to. So competency-based education, art integration, whatever is started by either CBSE or maybe NCERT, the art integration, sport integration, this will create a joyful environment for teaching learning. That's why in the very beginning, I spoke. I will not speak much on the NEP, that structure, what they have prepared, and their objectives, and that, because we all know it. Everybody speaks on this point, that these are the objectives of NEP. These are the type of things which are mentioned in. These are the expectations from NEP. These are the things NEP states. This we are listening again and again. But only by listening those things again and again will not make any kind of impact, as long as we will not think ourselves where we are, what kind of change I want to bring, and what kind of implementation, how effectively this can be implemented in my school, in my class, in my subject, or in my environment of that educational institute. Then and then only the change can be taken, because we know that education is a tool that empowers individuals in all aspects of their life. It widens his knowledge, skills, technique, and his vision of the world. Book, chalk, and board. This is not the thing. This is only 25%. Apart from that, as I said, experiential learning, the implementation of different types of joyful teaching learning methodologies should be used. I am the person who is supporting own teaching learning methodologies. May not be, whichever is given in a B.Ed or D.Ed. Apart from that, we should have our own teaching learning methodology, which is useful for my students. May not be, it is not mentioned in somewhere else, but that kind of methodology is teachers should create and should have a positive thought that I can create a very effective teaching learning methodology, which will be very useful for my students, where my students will like it. Where my students will like it. I always mention in my each and every training, I always tell the teachers who are there in the training that we prepare the students' report card 4 times a year. That is unit test, one unit test, two, terminal and annual examination. But sorry, teachers' report card is prepared 8 times, at least 6 to 8 times in a day. Then they ask how. When we go in the class, teach in the class, and we step out of the class after finishing the class, how many students say loudly, "Thank you, sir. Thank you, teacher. There is our report card." If whole class says it very loudly, means our percentage is 100. Only front row says 10%. Half the class says 50%. You just see when the teacher finishes the class and the next class is either drawing or PT. Just see how vigorously they say, "Thank you, sir," because they want you to push out. Where are we? Means our scorecard is there. Every teacher should think my scorecard is framed by the student, is made by every student in the class. When I finish my class, when I step out of the class, the teachers are listening back. How many students say loudly, "Thank you, sir"? Only front row, half the class, last row, or only few children. So they should always realize. I always insist on this point during my every training, that you just look out for your report card every period. Arey, aaj kuch to bhi galat. Otherwise, the students usually say that, "Oh, sir, madam, wo kal ke jaise sikhao na, because yesterday was the inspection." This is the quality of education. Yesterday, inspection time, they say sikhaya tha. That is the quality of education. That is the standard of teaching learning, which is not maintained, because it's not that only on that day we get the salary, rest of the days we don't get the salary. So in the India, this kind of thing is very important. Each teacher should study all these educational policies. I am very much aware of the situation when I conducted a training for teachers from 31 African countries, which were the tribal prone countries. And the methodology was discussed in all these countries, that what kind of educational standards these countries have. Because they believe that Indian standard is very high, especially for the tribal education. Because India is also a country where there is a good tribal population, and this type of thing was discussed. And it was really seen that some of the countries are really doing good. They have their own methodologies of teaching learning for their kids, their children, because the national thing may not be useful for all the teachers, but for the local level, whatever is the need of this local level student, that should be taken into consideration. The the textbook is not useful for these people. That lesson, that chapter is not useful. That is not effective for the student. You design your own. You design your own. And this is again thing, say it comes on the side that every teacher, every person, every educator should become a policy maker as per the need, for the need of the student. So this all what I want to say regarding the standard. Anything else you want to discuss or ask, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable tips for us. If the school implement your tips, the school will be very beneficial and succeed. Thank you so much. Now I would like to ask our founder, sir, Harshvardhan sir. Sir, do you want to ask anything to our keynote speaker?
No, ma'am. Actually, everything is clear. So I would like to invite all the educators to ask their questions. If they have any query, any question, they can ask our keynote speaker, Mr. Sunil BHAKARE. It's an open platform for all educators.
Yes, yes, sir. All the members of the today webinar, you can ask our keynote speaker, sir. You are allowed to ask now. If you want to ask, you raise your hand and you can ask. You are most welcome to ask.
Yes, Achna Mathur ma'am is asking for about the feedback link. All the educators who have joined, they have to fill the feedback form properly. If they are not filling it, they will not receive their e-certificates. It's very important and mandatory to all educators to fill the feedback form. It's compulsory to all educators, all attendees. After receiving their certificates, they many of them asked me to me that sir, I didn't have received my certificate and other things. So it's compulsory for all the educators to fill the feedback form. Thank you all. Yes, Nidhi ma'am, over to you.
Nidhi ma'am, you want to ask anything?
Yes, actually, she was trying to open. She was trying to switch on his mic. Sorry, her mic. Okay, no issues. I want to discuss some points with all the respected educators, and thank you so much, Mr. Sunil sir, for your valuable time. Today, you have discussed about the education system in India and other things. Like, अगर मैं इसके ऊपर बात करूं, कहीं ना कहीं हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम के अंदर एक बड़ी चीज है और मैं उसको कोरिलेट